Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real with Rob and Ning.
Dito po sa Keeping It Real, mga totoong kwento lang po ang pinag-uusapan natin dito na may kinalaman sa ating mga problema regarding housing, money, and retirement.
Ning, this week, not only do we have a very interesting profile with Josh from Sunrun, our solar guy, but we have two terrific home run stories.
Wow, that's two wow. Wow, wow.
Yeah, wow is right. But let's begin with our first home run story, and it's really a great story. And they're amazing clients that we've had since 2015. It's Myra and Orlando of San Francisco.
Okay, let me just set up the stage, Robert, right? So, nung tumawag sila sa atin initially, sila po ay mga retired couple at sila yung nag-aalaga ng kanilang mga apo. And then, because of the recession during that time, 2008, meron silang negosyo na bumagsak, na nag-iwan ng mga utang po sa kanila. And so, na bad credit sila. But then, what they're saying is, we have a lot of equity sa dalawa nilang property sa San Francisco, pero walang magpautang na bangko sa kanila. That's why they are so frustrated.
Mm-hmm. And so, at first we helped them with their credit, so it's credit repair.
Right. So, dun po sa credit repair, in 90 days, Robert, if you remember, from high 500s yata yung kanilang credit, if I remember it right, naging 710 within 90-day period.
No, that's amazing. That really is. And they've used almost every tool in our toolbox.
Yes.
You just mentioned credit repair. Very important, right? Keep your scores up. Mm-hmm. They used a no credit loan during that period of time where their credit was improving.
Right. Yeah. So, ang no credit, hindi mahalaga yung magandang credit o, income-wise. Hindi po mahalaga yon sa no-income loan. Ang mahalaga is meron tayong malaking equity sa property na pwede nating hiramin pansamantala. Right? And actually, what we did on that money is to pay down the principal nung kanilang primary residence para naman sila ay makapag-reverse mortgage.
Yeah, and so now the reverse mortgage, their credit's improved. Mm-hmm. They get money on their cash on their house in San Francisco, right? Mm-hmm. And so now they're in much better shape, but they still have this house in San Francisco that, sometimes is a cash flow, sometimes it isn't. Mm-hmm. And it suffers when a tenant is gone. And so we did what's called a 1031 exchange, mm-hmm. right? To break that up into 4 different properties.
1031 exchange, meaning they have to buy homes na ipapalit nila doon sa property nila sa San Francisco. So mahalagang wala silang masyadong debt doon sa credit. Kaya importante na yung kanilang property will be zero payment through reverse mortgage para ma-approve po sila o ma-qualify sila sa pagbili nila ng 1031 exchange property. Meron sila ngayong out of 1 property na binenta, napalitan ng 4 properties and one of them are the 4-plex.
And so, Ning, with that exchange into 4 properties, right? Now with a little time, they've gone up in value and cash flow, right? And so they really have reached what I call financial freedom. They're not worried about negative cash flow or worried about paying their mortgage. They have cash in the bank. And you know what? They're so giving because, they take care of a lot of people. They have a terrific story of how they helped their daughter May.
I first met Rob and Ning when my parents started investing in their properties. I consulted them when I had to refinance my home in Tracy, 2019 or 2020. Shortly after that, we decided to sell my home in Tracy, California. So it would really be great to find a place closer to the Bay Area, definitely close to my parents.
Ngunit may isang malaking problema si May. Kulang ang kanyang pondo para sa kapalit na bahay.
Whatever proceeds they will have from that property, she won't be able to buy a property just by herself.
Kailangan ng pamilya ngayon ng isang matinding plano.
And because I couldn't really afford a down payment on another home in California because it's so expensive, my parents decided to step in because they were doing a 1031 exchange at that time.
So we have around 650,000 proceeds from the 1031 exchange. In order for her to be able to afford the mortgage by herself, there should be a big down payment. So that big down payment came from the 650,000.
So there are a lot of moving parts to me selling my home and my parents also selling their fourplex in San Jose, California. So it was a lot of timing that had to be calculated correctly, and everything happened almost a week within each other. I was happy to sell my home in December of 2021, and my parents closed their fourplex in San Jose within a week's time before that. So timing is everything.
Naging maayos at epektibo ang paggamit nila ng 1031 exchange.
From there, we started looking for a home that I could live in and rent out.
It feels really good. You know, I really want her to be in a good place, especially, you know, with my grandson.
May found her a sanctuary in the quaint little town of Martinez, California.
The neighborhood in Martinez is incredible. It's 2 miles down from Pleasant Hill, so it has a lot of shops and a lot of restaurants, great restaurants. Everything that I really frequent is really close. My son's high school is about 3 miles away. Everything is close to the freeways and definitely about 30-minute drive to San Francisco to visit my parents. So we found a home in Martinez, California. So it really does pay to have a savvy investor for a mom.
The family is likewise grateful for the many years of friendship and mentorship with Rob and Ning.
I definitely think Rob and Ning had a lot to do with their success in real estate investing. My parents do their own research, but Rob and Ning really handholds every transaction each step of the way to make sure you are aware of what's happening from day one to the end of the transaction.
Without them, I don't know where we are right now. It's amazing. They made our life easier. We owe them our financial success right now.
And my parents actually really appreciate that, their professionalism, and they've become part of our family throughout the years.
Maraming salamat, Rob. The same to you, Ning. We love both of you from the bottom of our heart.
You know, May is our client too, Ning, and so this is a full circle kind of a story for them, for us, helping her with her Tracy home and all that as well. I mean, it's just a terrific story of how people can truly reach financial freedom.
Right, and I think what's more exciting about all of this, Robert, that's happening is na we witness nila with Tito Orlando and Tita Myra yung goal nila hanggat nandito sila, I think that's what's important for them, na natutulungan nila yung anak nila, and they are they're witnessing on how things is happening based on their plans from the beginning.
Yeah, and it gives me a good feeling because we've done so many things with them. We really kind of consider them family almost,
Yes.
and they're just terrific people.
I'm sure maraming may inspire sa ating mga viewers because I am one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to thank Myra and Orlando and May for sharing their story, and just, it's just a good home run.
That's right.
Hi guys, it's Rob here. I want to talk to you about 1031 exchanges and shooting a three-pointer in basketball. You need experience and direction to hit that three-pointer. The same thing goes for a 1031 exchange. In a 1031 exchange, you're going to be exchanging investment property for either better cash flow or a better property or moving to a different state. The thing is, you need to be very careful on how you follow the rules of the 1031 exchange. There's a 45-day period of time that you have to identify your properties, and then you have 180 days to close those properties. But you really need a good team to execute that. You need a team that has, number one, experience, someone who has experience, a good real estate professional. Number two, direction to help find properties for you. And obviously, number three, you've got to be able to close it within the time frames, just like a three-pointer.
All your costs are rising. Energy costs, cost of the gas pump, all those things. It's been a 22% increase just this year.
Wow.
That's not normal.
Save up to 50% on your electric bill with Sunrun. Use the QR code on your screen to ask about no upfront cost solar. Or text the keyword Robin Ning to 888-807-1119.
Hi guys, look who's in the studio with us, Ning. It's Josh from Sunrun, bringing us another ray of sunshine.
It's good to be back.
Welcome, Josh.
Just a little more sun this time of year.
Yeah, thank you for coming back.
So last time, Josh, you were here and you were sharing all of the wonderful things that Sunrun's doing, and you picked up a new customer, I hear.
Yeah, the new number one.
Yeah. And so we're going to get to that, but right now let's just kind of briefly talk about, you know, the need for solar and the different ways to pay for it.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about it last time, but just to review for the viewer, you can get solar in three ways. You can either buy it cash, you can get a loan, or you can do a power purchase agreement. So each situation, is different, so it may be best for you to do cash if you're going to be in the home long term and you just know that you're going to be there. A loan is great if you want a nice low interest rate and you like the idea of owning your system. There's always negatives as well. In those both, you have the potential if you sell your house that you could lose that money that you put into the solar depending on the timing of when you sell your house. But the third option, the PPA or power purchase agreement, it allows you the flexibility of not having to put down the money for ownership, not having to worry about interest, and having the option to buy later on, and guaranteeing a low rate for your electricity. That's the flexibility of the PPA.
Yeah, and before we talk about Ning's specific situation.
My success story?
It's a success story, yeah, and there's some good things about that story.
Yeah.
But you know, we're hearing a lot about inflation,
Yeah.
and we're hearing a lot about energy, and so, hopefully Sunrun can kind of fix those costs out so you don't have to worry about some of that. Is that possible?
Absolutely. So the big problem that I see here, especially in Northern California, and I think you see it throughout the country with inflation, is that all your costs are rising. Energy costs, cost of the gas pump, all those things. Electricity has been no different here. So just specific to our area, it's been a 22% increase just this year.
Wow.
That's not normal, but we know all the costs, it's not normal, but you can actually be able to protect yourself from that through either the PPA or a loan by giving yourself a low rate for your energy.
I mean, that's fantastic because everyone's looking for how they can fix their costs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the grocery store, it's crazy. You pay your PG&E bill, it's crazy,
Yeah.
right? And I know for Ning, you know, she's about cost. She likes low cost, right?
Yeah, I have noticed that.
So you were able to, and if you don't mind me sharing, you know, some of your specifics, right? You got like an electric car, right?
Okay.
And you were paying quite a bit for your electrical bill,
Yeah,
right?
you can say it, Robert. It's okay.
Yeah.
Roughly 500,
More than 500
more than
a
500.
month, right?
Yeah, and so, you know, when Josh, you know, came,
Yes. So when we guested Josh here, I had a, you know, I need to kind of like do a consultation with him on how.
You
to-
had an ulterior motive, didn't you?
That's right. And truly, I am so happy to be able to talk to you because Josh signed me up for $200 something for my electric bill for 25 years. It
Hold on,
will not go up.
yeah,
It will not go down, but $200 something versus my payment right now is 500 something, right? And he just told me today, because I guess I'm not paying attention to my electric bill, but he just told me that it went up by 22% just recently.
Yeah, specifically in our area.
Right.
So yeah, you're able to fix that rate, and it's much more efficient because you're producing the power at your home. It helps us reduce a lot of the cost for you.
Right. And aside from that, they actually upgrading my electric panel basically for free. Because I'm waiting for your bill, but I'm not getting it, so I guess I will never get that, right?
So did you have out-of-pocket expense?
No, that's a good thing about everything, because I never give him anything. No out-of-pocket
I
expense.
don't collect any payment information. Yeah.
No out-of-pocket expense. And then just recently, the electrician came to the house and tried to put a new line for the electric panel. And I asked him today, did that change my my payment?
Cost,
Yeah, and he said no.
So that's part of it. Wow.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So where your home was built, I think we said in the 50s or 60s, a lot of the electrical needed to be updated. So oftentimes you can qualify for us covering your electrical panel, and in your case you did.
The first question that I ask from this is like, example, if I wanted to sell my home later
Yes.
and move to a different house, he told me that I can, they will move my panels to the new house without cost from me.
We won't move the panels, but we'll set up a new system for you at your new house, the same agreement.
Right. And then let's say the buyer
Yes.
the buyer of my property say, I don't want your solar, then what?
So I would, in this situation, first we have to recognize that they would have to first realize that they're paying 31 cents a kilowatt hour with PG&E right now. That's the new rate. And that you're paying 18 cents a kilowatt hour at your home. That doesn't happen very often. We have over 700,000 customers. Generally, it's just like, how do I get the cheaper electricity? But in that case, they would basically, the system would stay there unless they wanted us to remove it. And it's similar to when you have maybe Verizon or AT&T or Fios. Their equipment's on your house, even if you're not using it.
Right. And they will also maintain,
Yes.
making sure that the panels are good while it's on my roof, and also my roof will part of the maintenance, right?
Yeah. So we with the power purchase agreement that you're using, we would actually maintain for the full 25 years of the life. At the end of that time, if you want to renew, you can. You can have us remove the system at that time at no cost to you, or you can have a new system put on.
Right.
So with your electric car and all that,
Yeah.
you lowered your electricity, and that pays for all your, not gas, but your electricity to move around
Right.
the state, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All for that small amount of money.
They upgraded my electric panel, right, at no cost. They will keep the maintenance of my roof together with the panel, and my goodness gracious.
Oh, she's obviously a happy customer.
I am.
Josh. If there's other people out there that want to be happy customers, they just need to go to that QR code, right? And they can get to you directly, right?
So I'll respond to that, and the QR code is where you would go.
Make sure po to scan the QR code na nakikita nyo sa screen or text po yung short code Robin Ning dun po sa number na nakikita natin para you can get more information and be able to talk to Josh and matulungan kayo kagaya ng ginawa niya sa akin.
Yeah, and thanks again, Josh, for being here.
What she said. Thank you.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hindi ako naghahawak ng pera niya, hindi ko alam what's going on. Wala siyang sinasabi sa akin. Siya lahat, siya lahat, siya lahat. Wala akong alam talaga.
Use the QR code on your screen to ask about no upfront cost solar. Or text the keyword Robin Ning to 888-807-1119.
Simulat sa pool para kay Virgie at sa asawa niya, basta pera ang pinag-uusapan, si Mister na ang bahala.
Ang asawa ko siya ang nag-handle ng pera niya. Wala akong say. Kasi alam mo, ang dami naming tinutulungan sa probinsya. Mga 7 bata na mahihirap sa Bicol na we always send them money. Ang pinapadala nakikita ko sa husband ko, $300 every payday niya. Kasi very generous si husband eh. Lalo pag sinabi sa anak niya at sa mga apo.
Dumating ang panahon na bigla na lang nagbago ang kalagayan ni Mister.
Ang sigla-sigla niya noon, ang tali-talino, maliksi. Tapos parang bigla siya nawala na ng lakas sa pangangatawan at saka sa pagkain. Nagsimula ang problemang nung mag-retired ang asawa ko sa trabaho. Nagkaroon si husband ng sakit na dementia.
Mula noon, napabayaan na ang lahat ng mga bayaran tulad ng mortgage at credit cards.
Ay, talaga nakakalungkot. Pero ang asawa ko hindi niya na naisip yung gawa siguro ng kanyang karamdaman.
Habang tumatagal, nagkapatong-patong na ang mga utang. Maliban pa doon, nakatanggap si Virgie ng sulat mula sa IRS na may utang silang mag-asawa na humigit kumulang sa $100,000.
I just ignore it. Hinayaan ko na siya. Kasi parang I'm so upset. Tapos iniisip ko, saan ko ba kukunin yun? Wala akong say sa lahat. Ito ngayon magkakaproblema, ako na ngayon will take over. Kasi una, hindi ako naghahawak ng pera niya, hindi ko alam what's going on. Wala siyang sinasabi sa akin. Siya lahat, siya lahat, siya lahat. Wala akong alam talaga.
Panahon na para humingi ng saklolo. May nagrekomenda na tawagan sina Rob at Ning.
Kasi ayun ang sabi ng kaibigan ko si Lisa Asilo na Ning could help you so big. Ganun. She could help you right away.
Ang sagot sa gusot, reverse mortgage. Umaksyon kaagad sina Rob and Ning. Nahanapan nila si Virgie at ang kanyang mister ng bagong tahanan at nawala ng parang bula ang mga utang.
Sa credit card, nabayaran na. Sa IRS, tapos na. Malaking tinik na nabunot sa aming puso na talagang walang-wala na, bigla na lang lumuwang ang lahat. Taos puso po kami nagpapasalamat kay Ning Giron, Miss Ning Giron at kay Mr. Rob Burton na sila po ang tumulong sa aming problema na nasolusyonan kaagad. Na binigyan kami magandang tahanan na bagong-bago ang bango-bango at maaliwalas na maaliwalas sa puso namin at sa isipan namin at sa buong aso namin at buong anak namin. Taos puso kami nagpapasalamat talaga.
I remember, Rob, when we had our first consultation with Tita Virgie, we found out na hindi lang pala IRS debt ang problema, right? Financially, kundi behind din sila sa mortgage payment for years. And then the HOA as well. Kaya yung HOA nagput na ng lien against the property.
Yeah, and you know what? What's really kind of sad about this story is her husband's condition, obviously, and for her to find these things out, deal with that, take care of him, and then all these things come at her, and she has no idea where they're coming from.
Right. Tinry natin sila na mag-reverse mortgage, pero because during that time, hindi enough yung kanilang equity to be able to do reverse mortgage. But let me just say, very important na kung tayo po ay behind sa mortgage, given na ang ating credit is already ruined. Kahit isang beses lang po tayo mag-miss ng mortgage natin, bababa yung ating score ng up to 100 points just for missing a month. And imagine po na kung tuloy-tuloy tayong magmi-miss, then talagang masisira yung credit natin.
Yeah, and they had a nice home in Walnut Creek, right? But they were about to lose it.
Right.
They had a lot of, late notices, foreclosure notices on their home. And they had some equity there. And so it would have been very sad had they continued down this path of just kind of putting your head in the sand
Right.
and not dealing with it. Luckily, a friend of theirs and their daughter said, listen, we got to call Rob and Ning,
Yeah.
right? And so when we first talked to him, obviously it started with the debt, right? And it just kind of peeled away, and we got down to the home and the HOA, and so once we got all that information, and I think we were finding out at the same time she was.
Not to mention na yung property nila dati is marami na ring mga issues. We did an inspection and there's a
Lots of
lot of
issues.
issues on that property kasi they did not do
Couldn't
anything.
maintain it.
Yeah,
Couldn't
cannot
maintain
maintain it. It's a big house too.
We were able to build that plan, save that home, sell it, get a lot of equity.
We planned na mabayaran lahat yung kanilang pagkakautang so they are debt-free and then makakuha ng enough money pang da-down nila dun sa brand new property through reverse mortgage. And so, sa reverse po, again, hindi mahalaga ang ating credit. For as long as meron tayong enough na pang da-down sa property para once na mag-close yung reverse na yon, you will not be obligated to pay yung mortgage natin for the rest of our lives. So sa istorya ni Tita Virgie for the rest of her life and the husband's life, would you imagine, Rob, living in that brand new property for $300 a month?
No, I know, and it's a beautiful home. I mean, it's a great neighborhood with lots of amenities and
Gated.
security, and they're in a safe place. Right? And, on top of all this, and I think we failed to mention, is they got a lot of cash also, right? Reverse mortgage, new home, and then they had a reserve.
That's right. And they were able to also help some of the family to
Yeah. Their daughter.
Yeah, for their finances. Yeah. So talagang it's a win-win for them. I think they're happy.
I think they are, and I think Virgie is more informed. Now that it's all cleaned up, it's easier to be informed because you just get that mortgage statement every month with the reverse mortgage, right? And she can choose to, deal with that by either not paying or paying interest only or whatever. So her life is much easier,
Oh yeah.
much more streamlined, and much more informed.
And sabi niya, pinag-iisipan pa nila kung sila ay magre-retire sa Philippines or maybe sell the property and move somewhere else na mas malapit sa family. Pero right now, when I checked, they already have equity. Kung gugustuhin nilang mag-refinance, probably they can and get some money. Otherwise, they can stay there for another 2 years para they can sell and move somewhere else para hindi mataksan yung kanilang gain.
So, again, if you would like to give us a call us at 888-860-9530, or you can visit us online.
Or go to our website po and schedule yourself for a free consultation with either Robert or Ning, or visit our Facebook page, Get Real with Rob and Ning.
And don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Keeping It Real with Rob and Ning. Until then, bye.